Hi everybody, Dan Illman, Matt Bernier. Let's take a look at the field for Saturday's feature race at Aqueduct, carded as race number 8, the $100,000 Garland of Roses Stakes for fillies and mares traveling 6 furlongs. Matt, the number 4, Miss Locust Point, is expected to scratch out of this race and run at Laurel on Saturday, and that really changes the complexion of this race drastically.
Significant scratch, because not only did she figure to be a contender in here, but from a pace dynamic, boy, I think it kind of, I won't say it turns it on its head, but I think it certainly helps the horses that were going to be forwardly placed, and now you take out arguably the speed of the speed.
Again, our DRF Stakes previews are presented by DRF Bets. If you sign up to DRF Bets right now, $300 bonus waiting for you. DRF.com/fall, promo code FALL300. Okay, so with Miss Locust Point out of the race, who's going to be the speed? And the Timeform US Pace Projector, I believe, correctly predicts that the 5, Pico Uno, will inherit the lead once the 4 is withdrawn. And that blue bar not only favors Pico Uno, but it could seriously hurt a horse like the 3, Absatutely.
That was kind of the way that I looked at it, you know, and I wanted to make a case for Pico Uno, but in my heart of hearts, I just don't think she's good enough. I know she's got that run 2 starts back up at Saratoga, but it just seems like that's kind of the outlier of the entire thing, and certain horses love Saratoga, others don't. Maybe she just freaked out on it, I don't know. I don't think she's good enough to win. I think it helps the horses that can sit pretty darn close, though. Absolutely, she could be way up against it because she took advantage in that Iroquois.
Fair question could be about Pico Uno. Did she just freak at Saratoga, or did she take advantage of a situation from a pace standpoint
similar
that's comparable
to
this? She did beat Kazon and Absatutely, the 2 main contenders in this race that day. In Dave Grenning's informative advance for this race, he mentioned that last time out she couldn't make the lead. She got a piece of dirt kicked back in her eye, and she came back not happy at all.
I don't want to run when I get dirt kicked in my eye either.
Neither did Pico Uno. This time she gets to the lead. There's no dirt in her eye. She's an interesting contender to be sure. Let's talk a little bit about Absatutely. Now, I agree with you. In the Iroquois, I thought she just got a wonderful situation. I think the pace is a lot hotter than it looks on paper. She dropped back to the tail end of the field, and Joe Bravo gave her a beautiful ride. Saved every inch of ground, and that made all the difference, I think.
100%. I mean, when you consider they were only a half length apart, this filly and Kazon, the fact that she shot up the wood, beautiful ride, everything worked out perfectly. You know, and I'm also going to say, I think it was an overconfident ride from Joel Rosario on Kazon. He waited, and I don't think he realized that Absatutely was coming. And at that point, he got into her and she finished. I just wonder if you don't sit there on her like she's a Cadillac, does Absatutely have the opportunity to even get to you and collar you? At the end of the day, can't take anything away from Absatutely. I think she had everything go her way last time.
Absatutely could easily win this race, but when you watch that Iroquois, I didn't get the feeling that she's a superior horse than Kazon, simply because, as you said, Rosario might have been too confident on Kazon. Kazon lost more ground on the turn than Absatutely, and Kazon was closer to that contested pace than Absatutely, and might have had some of the starch taken out of her turning into the stretch. Now, Kazon is Kazon. We know she'll change leads when she feels like it, if at all. That is an annoying habit. I think that has cost her more than one win in her career. But she should get a good trip, simply because she has more tactical speed than Absatutely. She might have a big edge this time around.
I just wonder if this is that. I agree with you 100% about the lead change thing. It's cost her numerous times in her career. I just wonder, does she work out the ideal trip in this spot, sitting just off of Pico Uno, getting the jump on everyone else, and the pace isn't going to be as hot as it was in that Iroquois to help set it up for Absatutely.
Kalabaka, the number 2, is returning off of a long layoff. She's only started 4 times this year, hasn't run since May, and in that race at May, she caught By the Moon in a race where she really couldn't win. So you want to draw a line through that race, and if you want to say, well, she caught a wet track as well, 2 starts back, you don't have to love that race. Then you're left with a filly that's won 3 out of 4 starts, albeit against weaker.
Yeah, I guess the problem is it was just so long ago that I wonder where she is right now. Her best race makes her a fringe contender. I just don't know what we're going to get.
Let's talk about Fusaichi Red. Fusaichi Red hasn't been seen since the Pumpkin Pie on November the 5th. It was her first start off a little bit of a layoff, and I thought that day at Aqueduct was really a speed-friendly track, and the race was wired by Lucy and Ethel. Maybe Fusaichi Red was up against it. Indulgent, who finished second, came back to upset the Go for Juan last week, a graded race with an 88 buyer. My issue with Fusaichi Red, and perhaps it's been addressed by with the addition of blinkers, is that the usual Fusaichi Red running style keeps her far off the pace. Maybe with the blink, she parks herself right off the speed.
Yeah, she's going to need to be much closer, and I think maybe the blinkers will kind of alleviate that sort of issue where she's been coming from so far out of it. My other problem is I just feel like she's 5, soon to be 6. she has basically run the same races since she was a 3-year-old, and I just wonder, is that going to be good enough to win?
Closing in on a year and a half since her last win as well. The blinkers better move her forward. Pick time for the Garland of Roses Stakes. I think we mentioned the various concerns about the favorite.
Yeah.
Kazon is going to be a short price. You know, she is Kazon in the stretch. Absatutely, I'm not sure she's as good as she looked in that race last time out. The speed, Pico Uno, did she freak out 2 starts back at Saratoga? So I just want a strange face, perhaps. And the 7, Friend of Liberty at 8-1 on the morning line. This horse was very popular in the claim box over the summer, taken in 3 consecutive races. And Michelle Nevin, first off the claim, I think he used this horse as a last-minute substitution for By the Moon in the Gallant Bloom handicap. And she really didn't fire. Last time out at Aqueduct, and maybe it was simply a situation that it was a sloppy track that she loved against a weak field, but I like the way she won that race. She shows she handles this track. And if you believe the 89 buyer, which is another questionable situation, why can't she be close to a slow pace in a field with question marks and maybe at least make a dent in a price?
The one thing I'll say about the Fig, and the reason that I kind of believe it, is because, I mean, she's a late 3-year-old now, where you're usually going to get one more little forward move, I think, from 3 to 4. I have no problem with it. The only thing that holds me back from putting her any farther up than I did, I picked her 3rd, the wet track. She's 3 for 4, and she's 4 for 4 in the money. You look at her dry track record, it's not bad, 2 for 12, and she's been in the money on 7 occasions, but I think she's that much better on a wet track. If for some reason you're going to get wet here in New York, I think there's a chance of snow, but it's not going to be anything substantial. I think you would move her chances up. I also wonder, is she going to be a little bit compromised by the potential pace? Where if it doesn't go early,
she's got to be hustled out.
She's going to have to be hustled. You got to use her early on if you're Santana.
You're going to go with Kazon, though. I think you agree with me that Kazon might have run the better race last time out than Absatutely and should get the better trip this time.
The problem is what we've talked about. She's not reliable. I can't bank on her, especially if she's going to be the favorite at something like 6 or 7 to 5. I'm picking her, but it's just more a matter of I think she trips out. I think she ran the better race in the Iroquois. I wouldn't touch her with a 10-foot pole at 7 to 5.
Now this race kicks off the cross-country pick 4. 2 races New York, 2 races in Southern California at Los Alamitos. How would you play this race? Your top picks in here are 1, 3, and 7.
I would probably have the 1 be an A. The 7, even though I picked the 7 3rd, I'd probably have that one be a B. And Absatutely would probably be a B as well, knowing that when we get onto the other side in the West Coast, you got a couple horses that figure to take a lion's share of the money. I don't want to spread too deep here just simply because I don't know how many horses have a big chance in here.
Let's go in 1, 3, 7. A stab for me with the 7, Friend of Liberty. I need 6-1, I think, to get to win, simply because it's a short field. She's 8-1 on the line, and remember that scratch and miss locust point should hurt her price a little bit. But I agree with you. I think I would rather have Kazon, although I picked her 3rd and Absatutely 2nd. I think Absatutely is the kind of horse that I prefer underneath in single race exotics, but not as much in the multiples. Again, it's 1, 3, 7 for Matt, 7, 3, 1 for me in the Garland of Roses. And if you are playing the Big A Saturday card from home, $300 bonus, DRF.com/fall, promo code Fall 300, and approximate post time is 3:47 Eastern. Good luck.